Hi, so we're going to be taking a look at how to create a Google site, and we're going to be using the example of a portfolio site. So the first thing we're going to do is we're on the Google search page, so we're going to go to Google Sites. Click on Google Sites. You need to be logged into your Google account at this point. So we're going to click on the left-hand side. You see the red Create button. We're going to click on the red Create button. We're going to name our site. So in this case, I'm going to name it a portfolio, right? So I'm just going to call it portfolio. You might want to name it your name and then portfolio. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stick with the blank template for now. We can also give a site description. So I would call it the site description where we would name it like your name portfolio, and then go ahead and put in the capture text. And then we're going to go back up to the top and click Create. Oh, it's not. Okay, so the portfolio is obviously not available. We're going to do a portfolio example site. So you're going to have to name it something that is unique to sites.google.com/sites. Okay, so here we are on our basic Google site. So it's pretty sparse. So let's take a look at some of the options that we have here. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a background for the site. So we're going to go into Google Images. And we're going to go ahead and search. This is going to be kind of an engineering site, so I'm going to type in engineering. Okay, for this example. Okay, so we get a lot of images here. Now we have to be careful because you can't just use any image on the internet. So we're going to go down to Search Tools, and we're going to go to Usage Rights, and we're going to put Labeled for Non-Commercial Use. And we'll notice that our selections are severely limited at that point, which is fine. Okay, and then we're going to go to size. We're going to go larger than. We're going to go to 2 megapixels. Okay, so we get a lot of options here, which are good. So I'm going to go ahead and select this site. This site, commons.wikimedia.org, is great. It has a lot of fair use images, or not fair use, but public domain images. So we go View Image. And it might take a second to come up here. We're going to right click, we're going to do Save Image As. That's going to save it down. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Remember, it's not going to stay on your computer, it's going to be uploaded to your Google site, so not to worry, it's not going to stay there for long. Okay, so we're going to go to our portfolio site, and now we're going to go ahead and click this gear right here, and we're going to get to Site Actions. Oops, not Site Actions, we're going to get to Manage Site. Okay, so once again, if we go back, I'm going to click Cancel. We click on the gear. We go down to Manage Site. Click on Manage Site. Okay, so we're here on Manage Site, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and go to Themes, Colors, and Fonts. It's down here on the bottom left-hand corner. And then notice that we're going to click on Entire Page and then Background, and it should already be selected. We're going to go to Image, and we're actually going to go and select our image. Okay. All right, so our image is uploading, and then we're just going to go ahead and just take a look at it. Okay, so we go ahead and click Save. Notice it gives us a preview, but well, we could just look at our preview. So our preview, if you notice, so if we take a look at our image, right? Our image was pretty large. Okay, so if we take a look at our image, notice that what really we're seeing on our site is kind of this top left-hand corner. So if you notice right here, it's our top left-hand corner. So what we want to do is we want to shrink down this image. Okay, so that brings us to kind of a problem of websites in general, and that's image manipulation. So to manipulate this image, we're going to go to pixlr.com. Okay, so we open up pixlr.com. And this is going to take the place of like a Photoshop or some other image manipulation tool. So we're going to click Launch Web App, and we're going to go open image from computer. We're going to go ahead and select our image. Okay, and of course, if your image looked good on our preview here, we wouldn't have to really do anything to it, right? But it didn't, so we're going to go ahead and reduce the size of it. Okay, so we open it up in Pixlr. Okay, so we got our image open up in Pixlr here, and what we're going to do now is we're going to size the image. So we go to image size. Notice the constrained proportions is checked. We're going to reduce it by half to start off with. So we're going to go down to 2,000. Now you have to. This is a trial and error process. So it's a one-time thing. You're going to resize this image if it needs to. You're not going to worry about it if it doesn't need to. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And then we're going to save it back down to our computer. So we're going to click File and Save. We're going to leave it as a JPEG. You can play around with these values. So notice we change it to a PNG with full transparency. It's going to be 6 megabytes. Obviously, that's way too big for a web page. So if we keep it as a JPEG, the quality is not going to be quite as good, but it's 350 kilobytes about. So that means that's about 12 times smaller than the PNG. So we're going to save it as a JPEG. Down to our desktop, we click Save, click Yes to replace it, and then we're going to go back into our site editing. So we're still in the Manage Site page. I click back on the tab. We're in our Manage Site dialog here. I'm going to click on Image again. I'm going to go back down. I'm going to select my newly edited image. Okay, and notice it looks a little bit better. So now we can kind of see some of the stuff here. Okay. And that's going to work for me just fine. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and click this portfolio as kind of the name of the site, so I can go back and take a look at my web page. Okay. Also, if I want to preview it, what I can do is I can go down to the same gear. The gear is the main place you're going to go for options for the thing for your site. So you click the gear, click Preview Page as Viewer. And so this is what somebody's going to see when they come to the site. Okay, but we're not really done yet. So we're kind of initially setting up the look and feel of this website. All right, so we're going to go back to, notice that it opened up in a new tab. So we're going to go back to the original tab. We're going to click Manage Site again. Okay, so we're going to click Manage Site. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to, we're actually going to change, we're going to change kind of the look and feel of the site a little bit more. So we're actually going to turn off the search box. Notice that this up here, this site is not large enough to necessitate a search, right? So we're going to take the search box out. So we're going to go ahead and click Configure Search. We're going to uncheck this site. We're going to uncheck Enable Search. We're going to click OK. Oops. We're going to unclick Enable Search. Sorry, it's saying you have to have a search provider. We're going to click OK. All right, we're going to click Save, and notice that now I have this tab open as a view as a viewer. I can just reload the page, and it will show me what my site is now looking like. Okay, so we got a couple more things to do here. Okay, so when you put the image in the background, you notice that the site title is going to be maybe fade into the background. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the color of that title. So we're going to click on Themes, Colors, and Fonts. We're going to click on Site Header. Okay, we're going to click on Title. Okay, and we're going to click on Font. Okay, so the color, and you notice the color of the font here. Okay, so we're going to change it to white. We're going to click Save, and then we're going to go back and preview. Okay, so the workflow here is that you make one change, and then you preview that change. Okay, so now we have it right here. Okay, and I'm going to change the name of my site if I go back. So if I click on General here under Manage Site, I'm going to call this Engineering Portfolio to make it more realistic. So we're going to go ahead and click Save. So I click on my view again, and notice that it has changed. Okay, so we have kind of a clean look here. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to change, so right now the navigation area is the same color as the content area. So we're going to go ahead and change that. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to Themes and Colors once again. and we're going to click on sidebar gadgets, okay, and we're going to click on background, and we're going to go ahead and change the background, and we're just, because it's going to kind of fit in with what we're doing, we're just going to change that to like a kind of a lightish gray color. You could do a color too. Let's say if we wanted to do it in a green, let's make it a green. So, okay, so let's go ahead and click save, and we're going to reload. Okay, notice that just got the widget area, which is not really what we wanted to do. Okay, so Google Sites does not have an option to change the area of our navigation, which is fine. So we're going to go back in, and we are going to use an image. Sorry, I'm just getting back to where I was here. Don't follow along in this case. So so you have a couple of options here. We can go to site header, and we can change the background of the site header to some kind of solid color. Okay, so in this case, we can make it gray, black. You want to be conservative with your color choices, because remember, really what you're just setting up is a frame for the rest of the content that's going to be inside the site. So you want to kind of this part of the site to kind of fade into the background once you get your actual content in there. Okay, so at this point, if we change the header here with engineering portfolio, it would be this black bar up on top. You can kind of, the options for kind of changing this stuff on Google Sites are kind of slim, but that's fine because we get a lot of other functionality here that's not related to color. Okay, another thing that you could do if you wanted to is you could use an image. Okay, so a good choice for an image is just kind of a random design. Okay, so let's say we do. So sometimes you can just search on an emotion in Google Images, and you'll get kind of a good set of design stuff. So let's take, for example, something a little bit more organic, since our background picture is kind of more mechanized. Okay, so we can go ahead and use this picture. So let's go ahead and do view image. This is in Wiki Commons, so it's definitely okay to use. We're going to save image as. We're just going to save it down to our desktop, and then we can go into to actually set the background image. So under, again, we're in Manage Site, we're in Themes, Colors, and Fonts, and we're on the Site Header tab here. So we're going to go ahead and click on Image, and we're going to go ahead and choose the image we just downloaded. It's going to update. And it's a really giant image. So what we can do here is we can actually go in and back into Pixlr. We can open the image from the desktop, and we can kind of do the same thing that we did before. So if we open it up, we can go to the image size. We can reduce the image size to, let's say, 2000 is a good amount of width. And then what we can do also, because we know we don't need the whole height, is we can actually, if you want to crop it, you can go to canvas size. You can choose where the center of the crop is going to be, and we can actually affect the height. So we know it's never going to be more than 500 pixels. So we can just go ahead and change it to 500 pixels. Then we'll go ahead and do File, Save, and we're going to save it back down as a JPEG. Notice that the size of the image, the file size, is now going to be greatly reduced. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click on Image again in Google. Okay, we're going to choose our now edited JPEG for our top. Notice now it's 218K, which is just fine. Okay, now we can go ahead and take a look at that in our oops, and we didn't set the color back, so apparently the color supersedes the image in Google Sites. There are a lot of technicalities in here like this, so in the end, just trial and error is going to work well for you. Okay, so if you wanted to make an image here, this is what it would look like. We have something in the background, something in the foreground. One thing that's kind of common to do in background images, if we go back to Pixlr, is that you can take this image and we can actually apply a filter to it, like a blur. Okay, and so basically what this does is kind of create this kind of out of focus effect on the background. So if we go ahead and click File, Save, I went to Filter, I don't know how to pronounce this word, it's a Gaussian blur. Okay, so we can go File, Save, and we can save it back down, and then we can go back in and change our background again. Okay, so this is kind of the process. You just kind of go back through, just try a few things. You're only going to have to do this once, so you want to kind of get it right and then leave it alone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and upload kind of a blurry background picture. For my site header, I'm going to choose to not use an image. I'm actually just going to use a color, and that color, you can never go wrong with black. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose black for the top, the title area. I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and this is my final version here. Okay, so this is what's called the boilerplate. Okay, so boilerplate on the website is the background. We've got the title bar. It's very simple and straightforward, but remember, on a portfolio site, you're really trying to highlight the work that's been done. The website itself should kind of fade into the background. Okay. All right, so go ahead and get your, if you're working along with us, go ahead and get your background done, get the site set up, and you'll have your boilerplate ready to go. Good luck.